Hey guys, what's up? It's AJ from Brock's Table here, and today we have a new video, and this time we're going to be going over the Vegas Golden Knights goalie situation. So, the news came out yesterday that their starting goaltender, Robin Lehner, will be out for the year getting a hip surgery, so it's a damn shame. He really hasn't been able to perform like they wanted him to there, and he's just picked up injuries and hasn't been the same goalie he was on Long Island. I love Robin Lehner, obviously, so hoping he bounces back and comes back strong in the 23-24 season, which is crazy to think about now, that's next year. But we're going to go through the scenarios. They're going to go through their goalies in their system now that they can use free agent options, trade options. We're going to look at their cap and see how things could work. But it's tough because Vegas is in a really bad spot now. They don't have a number one goalie. I like Logan Thompson personally. We'll get into him later. But they don't have a true number one goalie, and they made all these big moves. They signed Pietrangelo. They traded for Eichel. They traded everything they had for Eichel for the most part. They're really strapped right now, so having him and Weber on LTIR does help. Don't get me wrong, but we'll get into the details. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And the first thing is the current options for the Vegas Golden Knights. So right here are your three goaltenders that they have. So, in my head, if you're picking out of these three, I'm going Logan Thompson 1, Laurent Brossoit 2, sorry, I put him on the third one, and Michael Hutchinson 3rd. Yeah, so it's not pretty. Brossoit is very injury-prone, Michael Hutchinson's really not that good, and Logan Thompson's an unproven rookie. Yes, he was good last year. Yes, he played for Canada after the season in the IIHF tournament. I forget, the Worlds or whatever. I believe it's the World Championships. It's just, if Logan Thompson doesn't pan out, they're screwed. And it's a waste of Jack Eichel, waste of Pietrangelo, waste of all these guys. Mark Stone even. All these really good superstar seasons just gone. So, they are very cap-strapped, but we divulge. With the cap space available, they now have $6.2 million. Around $6.2 million. I believe it's 6.297 and other numbers. They have a little bit over 6.2 though, so Leonard does give them some room. It helps, but they still will. When we show you their lineup, we'll see how much it really helps. They only have one player left that needs to be signed, and more than likely will be signed soon, with the money being freed in Nick Hague, a very good second pair left-hand defenseman. 23 years old, RFA, like I said, so they're not rushing to do it, but they probably should consider doing it, or he could be a trade piece, which we'll get into. Here's their current lineup. In my eyes, this might be wrong, but we have Chandler Stevenson, Eichel, Stone on the first line, very good first line. If you don't rate Chandler Stevenson, you better. Second line, Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith. So it's good, it's not bad. William Karlsson just needs to get back to his 2018-19 form, 17-18 form, which will probably never happen. But he needs to be much better than he was last year. Third line here is where things get going. William Carrier, who's fine. Nolan Patrick, if he plays, because he has a lot of health issues. Hopefully he finally gets his chance to, play. And Nicholas Waugh, who's underrated. And on the fourth line, they currently have Michael Amadio, Brett Howden, and Keegan Kolesar. I do like Keegan Kolesar myself. That's not a bad forward core. It's just not good. You need a better third line left wing. You move Carrier down, that's fine. If Patrick can play and he's good, that's really good for them, but that's a big if. Then on defense, you got Braden McNabb and Alexander Pietrangelo without Nick Hague there. I moved McNabb up. You got Ben Hutton. Yes, Ben Hutton and Shea Theodore and Alec Martinez and Zach Whitecloud. That's not a terrible defensive core either. You put Nick Hague over Hutton in, that looks so much better though, obviously. Even without, and then goalies, you got Thompson and Brossoit. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. They just got to score. That's their issue. That's what they couldn't do last year. They just got to score and stay healthy, which they can't do, apparently. When you put Hagen over Hutton and you switch McNabb and Hague, that team looks very solid, actually. The whole thing is goaltending, though. It could get better. It could get better. So, the first thing is the current options. We already talked about them. The three of them right there. Like I said, Thompson and Brossoit still will be the two guys in my opinion. Brossoit is injured now, but he should be ready by the end of preseason, apparently. Here's where it gets ugly. You can't sign anyone. There's 5 goalies out there, and here are your best 3, and I'll explain why. Chris Gibson. Yeah. Good old Corey Schneider. Would have been good 6 years ago. And Garrett Sparks. Fun. None of these guys are better than Brissois or Logan Thompson, in my opinion. The other 2 guys that are out there are technically the Hamburglar and Andrew Hammond, but he has a PTO with Florida, but he would come over, obviously, but I don't think that's going to happen. And Braden Holtby, but Holtby is injured for the entire season, so that would not make any sense. So you're stuck with these 3 guys if you want to sign someone, and it just doesn't make sense to sign either of them, in my opinion. But where it gets trickier and more fun is the trade tree. Realistic trade options we have here, there's more than these 4 before anyone starts commenting, freaking out. What about John Gibson? What about Anthony Stolarz? They're in here. Just wait. So we got Semyon Varlamov of the New York Islanders, which is option number 1 in my opinion for them. Not that I'm a biased Islander fan. He's just the best goalie out of anyone besides John Gibson. And I don't know if John Gibson's a realistic trade option with how little they have to trade for him. Chris Driedger from Seattle. I'm just looking at backups and third strings. He's a third string guy now. They have Grubauer and Martin Jones, so he becomes expandable, and you can get a pick for him. Same with Samuel Montembeault. It's either Montembeault or Caden Primo, and I think Primo's going to get more ice time over Montembeault this year. So Samuel Montembeault makes a good shout for a realistic trade option. Is he better than Laurent Brossoit? That's for you to decide. Because Montreal does have Jake Allen, Primo, Montembeault, and Price, but I don't think Price is going to play. And then San Jose has Capo Kakinen. I love how I say Kakinen. James Reimer and Aiden Hill. Aiden Hill was pretty solid in his short stint with Arizona, which got him the move to San Jose. So it's not a bad option there either. Here's the thing with Varlamov, though. To trade for Varlamov, it's going to be a very decent-sized package you're going to have to give up, because the Islanders aren't going to give up their backup goalie without having a backup goalie in return. So I think it would be fair if you gave up Nick Hague, so you don't sign him, saves the cap there, Laurent Brossoit, and you're going to have to give a second-round pick at least, if not more. They don't have their 2023rd, so 2024 is a second and probably a fifth. Varlamov was being shopped to Vegas during the deadline, apparently, but nothing really ever went through with it, and not that we know because of Lou, obviously. But it makes sense, but the Islanders would need a backup in return. So getting Brossoit does that. The value's really with Hague and a second-round pick. Brossoit also does free up the Varlamov cap a little bit as well. Hague's a very good left-hand defenseman. I would love him on the Islanders, and the pick would be nice too. You lose Varlamov's cap hit. You get Brossoit and you get Hague. Hague isn't getting more than $3 million, so that's fine. Maybe we can get more out of it, but this is me being a very neutral fan here. I'm not going to go too over the top. So now we're going to look at the guys from the Ducks. We have John Gibson and Anthony Stolarz. John Gibson is going to cost way too much, in my opinion, for Vegas to afford. I just don't see it as a likely outcome. If they can land him, though, you do it. He's very good, even though he had a very bad year last year. He'll bounce back. He was one of the best goalies in the league for the last 4 to 5 years. I feel like Anthony Stolarz is actually a very good shout. He only makes $950K. He's a good goalie. Last year was his first real year to play in the NHL, though, so still a little bit of an unproven commodity, but you can get him for decently cheap, I'd assume. All you gotta do is send them some draft picks and whatnot, and because that's what they want. They want to get guys that they can just trade for picks. So give him picks for him. You give him Brossoit. They'll trade Brossoit for picks. Ducks are happy. You're happy. Do you have to make that move, though? No. Here's what I think will happen, though. I think they will trade for Stolarz. It just makes sense with his contract, and it makes sense with how good he could be. He's not going to be your starter by any means, but he'll get the job done for 1 year at a very cheap deal. I think they're going to re-sign Nick Hague for 2 years by $2.75. Fair contract, very good, not very good player, very solid player, gets the job done, we move. And last but not least, with the extra cap, they're going to sign Evan Rodriguez to play on the third line. It just makes sense that they can do all 3 of these moves to have a better team for this year, rather than trying to either save cap, which they don't know how to do, or just spend it on one player. So I think these 3 moves would balance everything out more for them, and they would look a lot better. Here's their lines now with the 3 guys, and they'd have $3 million in cap space with bench players. Very big. So they'll probably have another bench player or 2, obviously, because there was times where they had maybe 1 or 2 scratches all year because of the cap. So they got Stevenson, Eichel, Stone again. Same top 6 with Marcel, Carlson, Smith. Evan Rodriguez fits in third line left wing with Nick Waugh and Nolan Patrick. Yes, I switched them around. Fourth line, you got William Carrier, Brett Howden, Keegan Koslar. That's a very good offensive core right there. Nick Hague, Petrangelo, Martinez, Theodore, McNabb, Whitecloud. Very solid forward and defensive core. And then in goal, you got Logan Thompson, Anthony Stolarz. So you don't have the guaranteed goaltending, but you do have $3 million to work with at least. You have a better overall team, you have cap room, and you have extra players to work with. So that's about it. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but in my opinion, I think it would get the job done. You have 2 alright, unproven goaltenders for the long run in Thompson and Stolarz. You just have to get through 1 year, though, and Robin Leonard will be back. The defense core looks a lot better because of it, and the forward core does look a lot better because of you taking the risk in the back end. It can get the job done. Is this team going to win the cup? Unlikely, but Evan Rodriguez put up 48 points last year. Maybe he puts up 35 to 40 again. Maybe Nolan Patrick turns out to be the player he was supposed to be, which is very unlikely, but a lot could happen. Who really knows? I do like how this team is structured, though, and they do have a little bit of cap to work with if they need to make in case of emergency trade. So let me know down below in the comments what you think the Vegas Golden Knights will do for the goaltending situation. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.